सेम मीटिंग आईडी है जो रोज यूज करते हैं. Why are you saying it to be invalid? Okay, so good morning guys and welcome to the session and we'll start in few minutes. हाँ तुम बताओ क्या डाउट है तुम्हारा? तो सकता हूँ यार. हाँ तुम बताओ तुम्हारा क्या डाउट है? डेटा ओपन करके रखो. आई विल हैव अ लुक. तब बताऊंगा क्या चल रहा है. ऐसे मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा. हाउ मेनी पीपल आर येट टू कम? कितने लोग रास्ते में हैं? उनके लिए वेट कर सकते हैं. इफ पीपल आर नॉट कमिंग देन प्रॉब्ली विल स्टार्ट. तुम्हारे ग्रुप पे कोई मैसेज है दैट ऑन द वे लेट हैं व्हाटएवर? निकाल के रखा है. दिखाओ कौन सा कॉल. इंडेक्स पोजीशन से डिलीट करो. किसमें? वो तो डिलीट करना क्या बताएंगे बताएंगे. पेशेंस रखो थोड़ा. सब करेंगे अभी. अच्छा चलो लेट्स मूव अहेड. ये लॉग ऑफ कर गया हूँ। अच्छा, जस्ट एज ऑफ नाउ सिर्फ इतना बताओ, इज सैम्पलिंग क्लियर टू एवरीवन? सैम्पलिंग क्या होती, क्यों करनी है? सैम्पलिंग के बाद आउटपुट क्या आता है? साइज ऑफ द सैंपल, रैंडम सैम्पलिंग क्यों बोलते हैं? जो सैम्पलिंग हमने करी है दैट इज रैंडम सैम्पलिंग। गाइस, नेट में कनेक्ट करने में कुछ इशू आ रहा है क्या? मुझे आ रहा है। चलो guys, let's get started and let's see some more things in our pandas. ठीक है। Okay, so again I'm repeating the same question for online folks, those who have just joined. Any doubt in sampling part? ठीक है। Open your Jupyter notebook, read your file. ठीक है, and let's work on it. Okay. So I am taking the again same file, and today probably we'll take 2 more files and we'll work on that. So let's quickly have a look. So remember we have one column over here, applicant income. Okay? It gives you the income. Let me say I want to express income in categories. Or you can say categories is nothing but your intervals. Or you can say bins, buckets. ठीक है? सबको एक चीज याद आ रही, एसक्यूएल में हमने यूज किया था केस स्टेटमेंट, केस व्हेन, याद आता है? बेस्ड अपॉन द इनकम, लो मीडियम हाई क्रिएट किया था हमने। सेम थिंग इफ यू वांट यू कैन डू इट इन योर pandas also. ठीक है, एंड pandas में करने के लिए इट्स क्वाइट सिंपल. So what I'll do is I'll say pd dot cut. हम pd को कट कर देंगे cr dot applicant income, and then I'll say bins equal to. So let me say I want to create bins something like this. So from let's say 0 to 2000, it is low, and 2 to 4, let's say medium, and probably greater than 4 I am saying as high. Okay, greater than 4 I am saying as high. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll create the intervals. I'll say 0, instead of 2000 let me say 20,000. Right, एक मिनट, इसका मैक्सिमम कितना गया है? Maximum is 81,000 ना? Okay, so let me mark it as 2000, sorry 20,000 and 40,000 and anything greater than 40,000. ठीक है, 0 to 2000. मैं 2000 क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? It's actually 20,000 and then it is 40,000, and then it is, let me say, maximum is 81. So instead of 80, let me put 81,000. 81,000. Then what I'll do is I'll say labels. Hello. Labels. Hello. I can say as low, medium, and high. Okay. So let me store it in a variable. Let me say variable 1. Yeah. I have stored this thing in a variable. Okay. So now if you see this variable 1, you will notice that you are getting 3 categories: low, medium, and high. And इस पे value counts लगेगा, value counts लग रहा है. So there are 963 people who belong to low category. There are 12 people who belong to medium category and 4 people who belong to higher category. Okay. So how did I create this thing? So pd.cut is the name of your function. What is PD? PD is nothing but your pandas. Import pandas is pd.cut. You are cutting. So if you want to cut something, this is the input. You want to cut based upon this thing. And these are your intervals. Okay. And these are your labels. These are your labels. Okay, no? So it says your low, medium, and high. What I can do is I can say cr dot shape. Abhi kitna iska shape hai? Still it is 13, remember? So now I want to add this column. I want to add this column as in my existing data frame. So I can say cr and let me say income category. Then what I can do? I can say equal to var1. So a new column would be added with name of income category. वो कॉलम लास्ट में जाके ऐड हो गया, देखता? Are you getting my point? Remember the way we add a column? ये एक तरीका था कॉलम ऐड करने का. I have already told you. So I have created. So basically, if you want, so what I have done, I have taken a 2-step approach. तुम लोग को समझाने के लिए मैंने 2-step approach दिया है. What you can do is you can directly, instead of doing this thing, you can directly do this thing. अब ध्यान से देखना, instead of var1 तुम directly यहाँ पे रख दो. So it will automatically create a column. ठीक है ना? Instead of taking 2-step approach, you can take just 1-step approach. ठीक है ना? Now guys, please go ahead and create this thing. So pd.cut, it will create a output in terms of your categories, or you can say intervals, or you can say bins. Can I? Oh. Done. जब मैंने एक और फाइल शेयर की होगी पहले, empty cast करके, याद है? Read that file. Everyone read that file, empty cast. empty cast फाइल को रीड करो सब प्लीज. है नहीं है? अबे मेरे पास नहीं है. क्या हो गई? Okay. I hope people have read the file. ठीक है? Yes, no? empty cast dot head. Let's quickly explore this data. Okay. So this data, how many records do we have? I can just run my shape function. 32 rows and 11 columns. Okay. कॉलम के नाम से कुछ पता चलता है? सुने हुए नाम लगते हैं रियल लाइफ में? हाँ, ये कौन सा सिलेंडर है? घर का या कार का? कार का सिलेंडर है, राइट? सो एमपीजी इज योर माइल्स पर गैलन. सो instead of like in India we are saying kilometers per liter, we are over there we are saying miles per gallon. So gallon is a unit of fuel. ठीक है? How many liters? So I think 4.2 liter होता है gallon में. Then cylinder is how many cylinder your engine has. Disposition, again the disposition of the piston. Horsepower, drag. Drag को जन बताएगा क्या होता है? WT. WT is nothing but your weight. And Cusack, VS. VS is your, again I don't know, remember what VS stands for. AM, automatic or manual. So 0 or 1. Gears, how many gears your vehicle has. And this is about your 4-wheelers, it is not about 2-wheelers. And carb, how many carburetors it has. Okay. So what is miles per gallon? Miles per gallon is how many miles a vehicle will travel in 1 unit of fuel or in 1 gallon of fuel. ठीक है? जिसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं कितना देती है, राइट? कितना एवरेज कितना है ना? और आज की डेट में तो बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है. ठीक है? फ्यूल के प्राइसेस हाई हैं. नाउ व्हाट डू यू थिंक? लेट्स फॉरगेट अबाउट डेटा साइंस एंड एनीथिंग. थिंक इन जनरल. Miles per gallon, the average, how many miles a vehicle will travel within 1 unit of fuel. किस चीज पर डिपेंड कर सकता है? सिलेंडर पर डिपेंड कर सकता है, कितने सिलेंडर. वेट पर डिपेंड कर सकता है, ट्रक का माइलेज कम होगा, कार का माइलेज ज्यादा होगा बिकॉज वेट ज्यादा होगा. एंड इट कैन डिपेंड अपॉन हाउ मेनी गियर्स इट हैज, कार्बोरेटर, हॉर्स पावर. अगर कार का हॉर्स पावर ज्यादा होगा तो माइलेज ऑब्वियसली कम होगा, राइट? ड्रैग, हॉर्स पावर. So what do you think? The relation between MPG and weight, it should be a positive relation or negative relation? एक basic सा question answer करो. Relation between MPG and weight, it should be positive or negative? Positive or negative? माइलेज के हिसाब से नेगेटिव रहना चाहिए. क्यों नेगेटिव रहना चाहिए? Because if weight will increase, mileage will go down. जितना वेट बढ़ाओगे माइलेज उतना कम होता जाएगा. What do you think between MPG and gear? इमेजिन करो एक 4 गियर कार है और एक 6 गियर कार है. एक हाई एंड कार है, तो हाई एंड कार में माइलेज कम होगा अगर स्पोर्ट्स कार है, राइट? हॉर्स पावर, व्हाट डू यू थिंक relation between horsepower and MPG would be? If you will increase horsepower, mileage will go down. So negative होना चाहिए, right? So basically, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to build a correlation matrix. आप सब लोग ध्यान से सुनना, ये हर बार यूज होने वाला है तुम्हारे लाइफ में भी. Correlation matrix. Correlation matrix and how to see and interpret the correlation matrix. Acha, if the relation between MPG, listen to the question carefully, if the relation between MPG and weight is negative, if the relation between MPG and weight is negative, then what would be the relation between weight and MPG? If the relationship between MPG and weight is negative, then what would be the relationship between weight and MPG? Negative ही होगा. Correlation between A, B और B, A is same. दोनों का formula same होता है. ठीक है, keep that thing in mind and let's build a correlation matrix. So what is the name of my data frame? Name of my data frame is MTCast. To build the correlation matrix, what I'll do, I'll say CORR. That's it. एक correlation matrix build हो गया. Everyone please create this matrix. And इसके आगे नाम लिख दो. This is nothing but your correlation matrix. It is your correlation matrix. Done. Build हो रहा है. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me take a snippet of it. What are these numbers? Observe this matrix very carefully. And can someone tell me what are these numbers? ये numbers कुछ कह रहे हैं हमसे, क्या कह रहे हैं? अच्छा चलो, let me take this up. So do you notice these are the name of the columns which were there in your data frame? And similarly, you have the name of the columns over there also. दोनों तरफ name of the columns है. Now, if you notice one thing, all these diagonal elements, can you notice the diagonal is one only? ये सारी चीजें बनाती हुई दिख रही हैं. I am purposefully drawing the line so that ये diagram तुम्हारे mind में stick कर जाए. All the diagonals are one. Can I have a quick answer why it is one? Yes, quantities are compared with the same. So remember, correlation between A, A would always be 1. Or correlation between B, B would always be 1. Or C, C. So what is this one? This one is nothing but correlation between MPG and MPG. And this is correlation between cylinder and cylinder. ऊपर से देखा तो भी cylinder, left to right देखा तो भी cylinder. So make a note that in correlation matrix, diagonal would always be 1. कोई problem आ रहा है? नहीं. In correlation matrix, diagonal would always be 1. Will always be 1. That is for sure. कभी 1 के अलावा कोई वैल्यू आएगी. Diagonal would always be 1. In correlation matrix, diagonal would always be 1. ठीक है. Now, what is this number? जिसको मैं blue में mark कर रहा हूँ. I am taking one number. What is this? This is correlation between which two variables? This is correlation between your MPG and weight. ऊपर से देखा तो weight, left to right देखा तो MPG. So this is correlation between your MPG and weight. MPG and weight. Now what is this correlation? What is this number? Weight and MPG again. Do you notice these two values are same? जिसको मैं ऐसे स्टार कर रहा हूँ. These, can you notice these two numbers are same? And why they are same? Because correlation between A comma B is equal to correlation between B comma A. जरा मैट्रिक्स को ध्यान से देखो. Do you notice the values below the diagonal and above the diagonal are same? सारे values same आ रहे हैं. So for example, if you take this number, can you notice the same number comes over here? If you take this number, the number again comes over here. देखते हो? Take any number. So this is between your drat and gear. So drat and gear, the same thing will come over here. Okay. So either you look below the diagonal or you look above the diagonals, values will be same. ठीक है, इतना समझ में आ रहा है? The values below and above the diagonal are same. It is symmetric around the diagonal. And correlation matrix will always be a square matrix. And diagonal would always be 1. Diagonal would always be 1. Clear, guys? Okay. अच्छा, now do one thing. सब लोग please read your this file. Which file? Property price. Let's take a little bigger file. And let's see if we have this type of file, how to approach it. I hope सबको file read करना आता है. And today I'll tell you some different ways also, methods also in which you can read a file. ठीक है. Pandas बहुत powerful है. ठीक है. तुमने भी जितना Pandas सीखा है, it is just few things. Hello. Shall we start? And let's see how much time does it takes. तो मैं यहाँ पर time एक लिख देता हूँ. And obviously I'll मेरे को ज़्यादा time लगेगा because I'll keep on explaining also. Let me say 11:41 time start. So and we will go till our sampling. We will go till our sampling. So PA dot shape. Let's assume we don't know anything about this data. हमें कुछ नहीं पता इस data set के बारे में. And then I say PA dot head, just to have a glimpse what this data set looks like. Okay, but I am giving you one problem statement. My problem statement is that this sales price is my target variable. Remember, the first step involved in model building is your problem statement. So life में कभी ऐसा नहीं होगा that you don't know your problem statement. You would be knowing your problem statement. You would be knowing your requirement. And if you don't know your problem statement or requirement, you go and ask the customer. जिसके लिए भी तुम model build करो कि भाई करना क्या है. Okay, so let me say sales price is my target for it. And expectation is people will code along with me. Okay, I'll not wait. I'll keep on explaining, but I'll not wait. Sales price is the target for it. And we will go till sampling, and probably I'll take one more step and I'll tell you how to build the model also. I'll show you how to build the model. You don't need to build the model. Okay, model building will be done when we reach that point. Okay, so sales price is my target variable. Okay, given by the customer. In this case, I am the owner. Now, so what's the second step? Get the data. You already have the data. Move to the third step. Data cleaning. Okay, so data cleaning, data preparation, data pre-processing, whatever fancy name you want to take. Okay, so let's go to our third step. Third step is your data cleaning or data preparation. Okay, data pre-processing, let me say. Data pre-processing. Okay, so in data pre-processing, what all things am I supposed to do? We can change the name of the columns. We can fill the null values. We can convert our non-numeric to numbers, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so first of all, let's see our PA dot is null dot sum. Okay. So do you notice it is not able to show you all the columns? सारे columns नहीं दिखा पा रहा बेचारा. ठीक है. So in this case, what I can do is I can use one option. ठीक है. Now what I'll give you, if you remember the option, fair enough. If you don't remember the option, go to the Google. डेटा साइंस इज हेविली सपोर्टेड बाय द ओपन कम्युनिटी। तुम्हें जो भी काम करना है उसका एक सोल्यूशन तुम्हें जरूर मिलेगा। सो नेवर थिंक कि मेरे को आता नहीं तो मैं कहां से करूंगा। सो फॉर एग्जांपल ओवर हियर आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी ऑल द कॉलम्स, उसने बीच में डॉट 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 दिया, इट इज एबल टू शो यू फर्स्ट 5 and last 5. Okay, but it doesn't mean that other columns don't exist. They exist, but it is not able to expand it in the current session. So हम Google पे जाएंगे and I can say how to see all column in pandas. बस यहाँ पे जाओ, best is you go to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow में जहाँ पे ग्रीन टिक लगा होगा ना, वो ऑप्शन 110% काम करेगा ही करेगा, जिसको उड़ा दें नहीं उड़ा, ठीक है। And again now if I run this, can you notice it shows you all the columns? So what is the option? I am saying pd.set option display max column and display max rows. Display max column, max rows. If you don't want to give none, you can put a number also over here. You can say 100 or 200 or 400 or whatever. But default is none. It will show you all the columns. Okay. It will show you all the columns. I am putting this option on the chat. Take it from the chat. So it shows you all the columns. So I can see that many columns are not having nulls, but there are few columns which are having nulls. There are few columns which are having nulls. Okay. And this option, what you can do is wherever you are importing the pandas now, you can set along this option. You need to run this option only once. Okay, na? It would be applied to any other data frame. Okay. Online folks, are they with me? Are they clear till this point? Yes, no? Yes, okay. So volume to hai. Okay, now let's use one trick. So I think I have already told few people that trick in the class, but let me say. So over here, it gives information for all columns. Okay, now it gives information for all columns, whether they have null or whether they do not have nulls. Okay, I'll just comment it out because I don't need it. Now, if I want to see only those columns which have nulls. I want to see only those columns which have nulls because I need to fill only those columns, right? So what I can do is I will just use this thing. Square bracket lunga. That's it. So it will give me only those columns which are having nulls. So wahi columns which are having nulls. I just need to focus on these many columns. How many columns are there? ये कितने columns हैं? Come on guys, tell me ये कितने columns हैं? Don't count it. Use some function. कैसे निकाला? किसका शेप? यहाँ पे शेप चलता है? यहाँ पे शेप चलेगा? लगा के देख लो. 19. So there are 19 columns. ठीक है? So 19 columns. Or if shape is confusing you, let's do one thing. Let's copy this thing and combine it with len function. So line will give you. So there are 19 columns which are having nulls. And totally how many columns are there? Totally how many columns? 81 columns. तो ज्यादा nulls नहीं है ना, छोटे मोटे. Okay, if you want to see only those columns which are having nulls, so what I can do is I can say greater than 0 and put the square bracket. Within the square bracket, you can give the condition. Remember this square bracket condition? कल हमने करा था ना, find the people who are earning more than something. वहां पे भी ऐसे ही कंडीशन लगाई थी within square bracket. Okay, now again I'll comment this. This was again for explanation purpose. चाहेंगे तो बाद में uncomment कर लेंगे. Has everyone done till this point? Yes. Okay. Now let me say I want to see only those columns which have nulls more than some percentage. Some percentage. Some percentage is your choice. Whether you want to see above 10%, 20%, 40, 50, 60, 100, whatever. Then what I'll do is I'll just copy this thing ओके, हाउ डू यू फाइंड द परसेंटेज? अब जिसकी मैथ्स कमजोर है उसको यहाँ पे शायद थोड़ा इशू आएगा, ठीक है, पहले से, ठीक है। सो परसेंटेज वुड बी डिवाइडेड बाय PA dot shape, and I'll say 0. 0 will select your rows, and it multiplied by 100. Let me say I want to select only those columns which are having more than 50%. 50% is other nulls. Then what I can say is greater than 50. So these are the columns which are having more than 50% nulls. Lane type, pool quality, fence quality, miscellaneous feature, or if you want to have more than 40%, you can say just 40% or 10% or 20%. ये सब तरीके याद रखो, आखिरी में काम आएंगे, लाइफ को इजी बनाएंगे, एक स्टेप तुमको आगे ले जाएंगे। अच्छा, कैन समवन एक्सप्लेन मी दिस फॉर्मूला? सपोज करो ऑनलाइन में जो बैठा है उसको समझ में नहीं आया, कौन एक्सप्लेन करेगा प्लीज? यार जब मैं क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ तो ऐसा सन्नाटा क्यों हो जाता है? याद रखो मैंने यहाँ पे टाइम डाला 11:41 पे चालू किया है। तुम लोग चाहते हो कि बहुत टाइम लगे, अपना सर्किट के ऊपर हंसना चाहते हो, कितना टाइम लगाया डेटा। अच्छा चलो, लेट मी आस्क अनदर क्वेश्चन। कंसिडर data frame has 1000 rows and a column has 50 nulls. Then what's the percentage null? Percentage null in that column. बताओ, answer the simple question. कैसे निकालोगे? You will do something like this. You will say 50 divided by 1000 and then you will multiply it by 100. बराबर यही करोगे? 50 divided by 1000 into 100, and now see, have I done the same thing? So what is this? This will tell you how many nulls each and every column has. Multiply by 100, and when I say PA dot shape 0, it is nothing but your number of your rows. Instead of dividing by 1000, I am dividing by number of rows. Shape and 0 diya, it will select your number of rows, and then I am comparing with whether greater than 40 or greater than 50. Can you notice? This is nothing but the very same formula. ये दोनों चीजें सेम है, ठीक है? आई होप पीपल आर क्लियर नाउ। अच्छा हुआ किसी ने नहीं पूछा परसेंटेज क्या होता है, ठीक है? एक दो बार लोगों ने पूछा भी, ठीक है? अच्छा, नाउ दिस इज जस्ट टू चेक द कॉलम्स if you have huge percentage of nulls. Now let's handle our null. All these methods, guys, everyone please have a look. All these methods which I have told you is for your knowledge purpose, right? If you want to use them, use them. If you don't, you don't. Now, I want to see only those columns which are having null. So यहाँ पे डाल देता. Okay. So those columns which are having null. So there are few columns which are having huge percentage of null. So 1368, 1452. How many records we have? PA dot shape. I have 1459, around 1500 records. So do you notice in 1500 records, around 1400 are null. And over here, almost everything is null only. 1452. So only 7 to 8 non-null values are there. Fence quality. Again, huge percentage of null. Same thing in your miscellaneous feature also. Okay. Lot extent. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's handle all these columns, lot extent, all these columns, and then we will discuss what to do if we have a huge percentage of null. I have already discussed with few guys, जिन्होंने करके लाए थे, but let's take it for the entire class today. Acha, now lot extent. So as of now, I'm not telling you any short method for filling the nulls. You need to see which column. So PA dot lot extent, lot extent. Okay, so this is numeric, so I can just fill my PA dot lot extent dot fill NA, and I'll say this thing. Let's fill it as a mean value. Okay, so lot extent has been taken care. Let's talk about brick veneer type. So I'll take the columns which are having huge percentage of huge amount of nulls little later on. है ना? Let's discuss them little later on. But fill all the columns which are having less percentage of null. So brick veneer type. इसमें क्या चीज़ है भाई? Okay, so value counts. So none. Okay, so brick veneer type. NONE. Okay, next column, brick veneer type and the brick veneer area. I think this should be numeric, right? Area. This is numeric. So brick veneer area. क्या प्रॉब्लम है? सीरीज मेथड फिल ए एन कहाँ डाल दिया मैंने? अच्छा फिल एन ए, अच्छा ऊपर वाले में. Okay, fair enough, gone fine. Now next column, basement height. Okay. इसमें क्या है इसका? Which is the most frequent value? TA, capital TA. ठीक है, capital TA डाल दिया. Then basement condition. Basement condition, okay. Be very careful when you are filling. कोई spelling mistake नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Exposure level. And expectation is people will code along with me. ठीक है. Another expectation is people will do it little fast. Because तुम लोग तो देख देख के कर रहे हो, है ना? And one thing is you guys have already done on this data set. So you are still ahead of me. So what should be the value going? It should be NO, right? Small NO. Okay, NO makes sense. So basement fin type 1, fin type 2. Okay. Fin type 1, fin type 2. Okay. Fin type 1 and 2 both are having, right? Fin type 1, what is the value? U and F. And what is the value in second one? फिर भी चेक कर लेता हूँ. वैसे तो तुम लोग इंटेलिजेंट हो, बट कभी कभी तुम लोग ने मुझे भटकाया भी. Okay, electrical system, it has just one null. Probably I can delete that column also, or probably I can delete that record, but still. Electrical system, okay. So PA dot electrical system dot fill NA, and I will fill it with SBRKR. SBRKR. So garage, let's see what's garage is there. Garage means attached. So attached means house has a attached garage. So garage में कितने nulls थे? Garage has 81 nulls. I guess. Okay. Attached. Okay. Then which column? Garage built year. Built year. I think built year would be numeric only. Okay. Let's fill some mean year or median year. Though I don't know what value it should be, but let's assume something. And this thing fill in it dot mean. Build year done. Finish year. Oh, finish year is something like this, huh? Okay, so I can understand. RFN, unfinished, refurnished, finished. Okay, so unfinished. Garage finish year, unfinished. Now it is very difficult to say what could be the value, but still. UNF. Garage quality. So what should I take for garage quality? Let's check it out. Garage quality. TA. Okay. Dot fill in A and let's mark it as TA. Okay. TA marked. Garage condition. Garage condition again TA. Okay. Okay. So now I have only those columns which are having huge number of nulls. Only those columns which are having huge number of nulls. So someone is saying, can you paste your code on the chat? Answer is no, I will not. Okay. People are expected to code along with. Okay. And why do you want it to be pasted? This is something which I hope people have already done, right? 2 week पहले दिया था. ठीक है. Achha, now I hope everyone has done it. So I'll put a little pressure today. Why? Because this data set is already shared. Expectation is people have already done on this. My aim is to take something else. My aim is to discuss this part. The columns where you have huge percentage of nulls. So let me put this over here. How to handle those columns which have huge percentage of nulls. Huge percentage of nulls. How to handle those columns which have huge percentage of nulls. Now, if I want to check how much percentage of nulls they are having, what I can do is I can just say something like this. I can run this thing. And if you notice, lane type is having 93% null, or you can say 94. If you come down, fireplace quality is having 47% of null. Pool quality, fence quality, miscellaneous features are again having huge percentage of nulls. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 columns. There are 5 columns all these columns, you notice huge percentage of nulls are there, 40%, 50%, more than 40, 50%. It's a huge percentage of null. Now, if a column, let's say a pool quality column, it is having 99% of nulls. So it doesn't make any sense to fill it with the most frequent value. So for example, if I say PA dot pool quality dot value counts. So GD is 3, EX is 2, FA is 2. Okay. So what should I do? So if I say let me fill it with GD, then everything will become GD only, right? Or XA. So when you have huge percentage of null, what should I do? कुछ लोगों को तो मैंने already बताया हुआ, right? Please बताओ क्या करना चाहिए? So basically, when you have huge percentage of nulls, what you can do is you can do two things. Either you can drop that column, and I'm saying drop the column. So when you have huge percentage of null, there are two options. The first one is most of the time people use this option, and probably you can also use that option, no problem. You drop that column. That is one approach. Drop that column means you remove that column from the data frame. Number of rows will still remain the same, but the column will reduce. You drop the column. The second option is create a separate category for nulls. Create a separate category for nulls. So basically, you will differentiate between nulls and not nulls. You can differentiate between nulls and not nulls. Okay. And why to create a separate category? Why? It will depend on the column. It will depend upon column to column. So not for all the column, but if you think a separate category has to be created, then you create it. Remember, the first thing which I told you about null was whenever you have nulls, you will fill it with some logical value. मैंने कभी ये नहीं बोला that you should always fill with mean or always with median or always with the most frequent value. I said fill it with the most frequent value. Sorry, fill it with the logical value. So remember in credit history also, the most frequent value was 1, but I replaced it with 0. Because I said if I don't know your credit history, I will assume it to be bad. Right? So now it will depend upon column to column. Suppose, let me take an example which I have also taken earlier. Let's say you are doing a survey. You are doing a survey of housing societies. And there is one column. As, let me say there is one column. The name of column is, let me say, Olympic size swimming pool. This is the column. Olympic size swimming pool. So how many societies would have Olympic size swimming pool? I think less than 1%. Very high-end societies would be having the Olympic size swimming pool. So while doing the survey, wherever the societies were not having the Olympic size swimming pool, what did you do? You left it as blank, or you left it as not applicable or whatever. You left it as blank. And wherever swimming pool was there, you marked it as yes, or you marked it as 1 or whatever. So what will happen? And you did a survey on some 1,000 societies. Out of 1,000 societies, let me say only 10 had swimming pool. I'll not say swimming pool, but this Olympic size swimming pool, only 10 had it. And 990 did not. And these 990 were marked as NA. Whoever was doing the survey, उसको model create नहीं करना था, ठीक है? So from wherever the data was coming, it was marked as NA, and it is now represented as your nulls or nans, ठीक है? So now do you notice one thing? If I drop this column, probably I will lose the information related to Olympic size swimming pool. So if there are two societies which are exactly same, आजू बाजू में है, everything is same. If one of them has Olympic size swimming pool, another does not has. So the society which has Olympic size swimming pool, their flat would be sold on some premium. Their cost may be some extra, right? So what I can do is for these 10, wherever you have marked 1, let it be 1. And for these 990, I can mark it as 0 or any some logical number, so that I don't lose the information about your this thing. Okay. So if you think that column contains that much value, go ahead and take this effort. Otherwise, you can remove that column. Okay. So for one of the columns, so for one of them, let me take it. So let me say for pool quality. So pool quality, I'm having all these things, GD, EXA, FA, whatever. Okay. Now what I can do is I can, let me see if it will allow me to convert. Otherwise, I'll take a different approach. So I'll say GD.pool quality equal to pool quality dot fill NA, and let me mark it as 0. Let me see if whether वो 0 allow करेगा. So it has been marked as 0. So can you notice 1, 4, 5, 2 zeros. Now the 0 will indicate that nulls were there. So all these 1, 4, 5, 2 societies are similar societies probably, and GD, EXA, FA are something different, which are having swimming pool. Is the point getting clear? Right? So keep one thing, when you are having huge percentage of null, either you drop that column, or if you think the column has some specific meaning, remember this Olympic size swimming pool column, it will help you. So अगर कोई interview में पूछता, take this example and explain it. That why I should not always drop that column, because column may convey some specific meaning, है ना? अपने data science interview के लिए हमेशा एक example याद रखना, ठीक है? Because it is a science, and science would be understood best when you take an example. Okay, so swimming pool quality I have handled, and let me say I want to delete all the other columns. Okay, I want to delete all the other columns. So what I'll do is I'll take this thing. इतना भी क्यों, ये ले लेते हैं, यहाँ पे डालते हैं. How many columns are left? Column lefts are these many. So what I'll do, I'll say PD PA dot drop and just drop them. Lane type, comma, fireplace quality, comma, fence quality, comma, miscellaneous feature. Sorry, not PD, it should have been PA. I made a mistake, typo mistake. कोई बात नहीं, इसको सिर्फ रीड करना है. So everything is 0. Okay. सब लोग please एक second stop करो अपनी coding. I'll after removing your nulls, always do this check. Always do this check. Do this thing. Put greater than 0 and you should get a empty list. अगर empty list आ गई, इतनी सब कोई nulls नहीं बचे. Okay, so this last line will confirm if any nulls are there or not, because when you have many columns, sometimes your eyes may not be able to notice a column. तो तुमने इन प्लेस तुमने ऐसे ड्रॉप किया था, उसको सेम डेटा फ्रेम में सेव किया था. चेक करो लाइन नंबर 533. ड्रॉप इट एंड सेव इट बैक इन द सेम कॉलम, सेव इट बैक इन द सेम डेटा फ्रेम. ठीक है ना? ऐसा नहीं किया था ना? हाँ तो ऐसे करो. है? If no no see, if you run only this line, this much part, it will not. हाँ उस वो तुम्हें ऐसा सिर्फ शो करेगा, but it changes would not be permanent. You save it back in the same data frame. Now what's the final shape? Final shape is this much. 1, 4, 5, 9 and 77. I am expecting that people are coding only this line. The rest everything people have done. वो मेरा expectation. And main focus was this line number 522. I wanted to take up this theory part, a small theory part. जब ज़्यादा nulls होंगे तो क्या क्या कर सकते हैं? What all things can be done? Now let's move ahead, guys. Okay, so we are in the third step, data cleaning, data pre-processing. My nulls have been done. What's the next thing? Non-numeric to numeric. Let's convert into labels. But before that, let's do one thing. एक बार head function run करके देख लेते हैं. So should I remove this ID column also? This ID column is nothing but sequence number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's get rid of this column also. ठीक है? So another way to get rid of this column is you can use your iloc also. You can say PA is equal to PA dot iloc. Select all the rows and select all the columns from 1 colon colon. Am I right? So when you say 1, it will start from your building class. But make sure you run this command only once. Otherwise, एक column कम होता जाएगा. ठीक है? You run it 2 times, building class is gone. You run it 3 times, zone class is also gone. Okay, but I am intelligent enough. I'll run it only once. Building class. ID column has vanished. Okay, because ID was the first column. In Python, indexing starts from 0. So when I say 1 colon colon, it will remove the ID column. Quickly remove it. And make sure that your data frame is starting from your building class and the last column is your sales price. At that, how many columns are there? 76 columns. 76 तुमने 2 बार कर दिया. क्या करोगे? मैंने बोला भी कि 2 बार मतलब कर दिया. चलो कोई बात नहीं. Guys, can we move ahead? सबने यहाँ तक करा? Done? हाँ, tell me. क्या इशू? 5 कॉलम नहीं, मैं बोल रहा हूँ PA डॉट शेप बोल रहा हूँ. कितने कॉलम्स आ रहे हैं? 76 कॉलम आ रहे हैं. Is it starting from building class? Yes. and the last column obviously is your sales price. Correct? Yes. Okay, chalo, let's move ahead. Now, guys, please पीछे बात मत करो. Focus over here. Now let's convert labels to numbers. What do you think? कौन से approach ले रहे हैं? Label encoder. Shall we go ahead for label encoder? Within label encoder, you want to use shortcut or long cut? From sklearn dot pre-processing import label encoder. Create an instance of label encoder. LE is equal to label encoder bracket open bracket close. Shall we use a shortcut? Okay, so let's go ahead. कल का कोड दिया हुआ है ना, उसको कॉपी पेस्ट कर लो बस. That's it. Copy this. अगर मैंने कोई पाप नहीं किया है पुराना तो ये सही जाना चाहिए. ठीक है. PA कोई पाप किया है. गॉड इंटीजर एंड स्ट्रिंग. ठीक है. आई थिंक द प्रॉब्लम ये आ रहा है, यहाँ पे आ रहा है. द प्रॉब्लम इज कमिंग फ्रॉम दिस थिंग. फुल क्वालिटी से आ रहा है बिकॉज आई हैव फिल्ड एन इंटीजर. लेट मी डू वन थिंग. Let me, guys, सब लोग प्लीज यहाँ पे देखो. Everyone just stop whatever you guys were doing. Stop. So it says encoders requires your string to be either integer or string. If it is integer, then probably it will ignore it. But if it is integer and a string both, it is giving an issue. And why this issue is coming? Do you notice this issue is coming because of this thing, pool quality. In pool quality, what I have done is GD, EXE and FA were there and I have taken 0. Okay, so what I'll do is the solution over here is very simple. मैं क्या करूंगा, अपनी फाइल को एक बार वापस रीड करूंगा. Just have a look. And if you want, you can continue running everything, but I will just run the logical part. And let me come back over here. Instead of 0, let me say I mark it as N. N will indicate no. Okay. Then rest everything remains fine. देखो, now it goes fine. Now it goes fine. So what I've done is you mark it as N. You mark it as N and run it from the top. Top means from reading of your file. So अब सबका वो वाला डाउट क्लियर हो गया कि अगर स्ट्रिंग और इंटीजर दोनों है तो क्या करोगे? तो आइदर स्ट्रिंग में करोगे या इंटीजर में करोगे. ठीक है. आइदर स्ट्रिंग और नंबर. ठीक है. इट कैन नॉट हैंडल बोथ. ठीक है. Now let's have a final look at our data. PA.text. Everything seems to be in numbers. What I can do is I can say PA.info also. So D type. Let me say, will this work? अगर मैं इससे ही इसका ये चुरा लूं तो D type not equal to, let me say, object. Will it work? Or D type equal to object. D type is not, it is giving an error. ऐसा क्यों आ रहा है? 0 1 2 3 हमने कल डी टाइप्स लगाया था ना। डॉट कॉलम्स लगाना। नहीं ठीक आ रहा है। Okay, see guys, see at line number 566. If I say p dot select include equal to object, do you notice I get an empty string, empty list? I get an empty list. If which means there is no column which is your object type, which means it would be either integer or float. So this is a confirmation that my data cleaning has gone fine. I had already handled the nulls. Now I'm saying whether there are any object type or not. So this is again a check. If this comes out to be empty, it means अब कोई object columns है. Okay. There are no object columns. Done. किस किस का यहाँ तक हो गया? Please हाथ रखो. So most of them are okay. ठीक है. Okay. So now what should be my next step? Guys, what should be my next step? Next step अब क्या होना चाहिए? Sampling, model building कौन बोल रहा है भाई? पहले train and test. So first of all, I'll do my sampling. Sampling कर लेते हैं. Sampling code you already have it. If you want, you can copy paste it. Or if you want, you can type it also from sklearn dot model selection. Import train test split. ठीक है. So what I'll do is I'll say PA train, PA test, train test split, PA, and let me give test size equal to 0.2. Then what I'll do, I'll divide this thing into PA train X, PA train Y. Okay. So PA train and I'll say .ilog. I want to select all the records and कहां से लेके कहां तक जाएं हम लोग? Can I say 0:-1 will work because your target variable is at the end. Your target variable is at the end, so it will go till end and it will not include end. And for train Y, what I can do is I can just copy this thing, and instead of 0: I can just say -1. So X and Y done. Now wherever you are having train, usko kar do test. Wherever you are having train, you mark it as test. sampling done. Sampling done. Acha, everyone please stop whatever they are doing. Just answer one simple question. The number of records in train X should match with your train Y. But number of columns in train X should match with your number of columns in your test X. Why no? Obviously yes. Number of columns, again, तुम लोग ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हो ना. Number of rows in train X and train Y should match. But number of columns of train X should match with your test X. And number of columns in your train Y should match with your test Y. And what you can do is, हमेशा एक quick check कर लेना. What you can do is, you can say something like this. Print this dot shape. इसको copy करना. This is my way to check. You can use another way to check. So train Y. And let's do this thing. Test X. Test Y. ठीक है. और बीच में एक लाइन डाल दो 40 मार्केशन. देखो. So your train X and train Y, the number of records will match. In train Y, in Y you will have only one column, right? You will have only one column, but number of columns in your train X, 1167, sorry, your number of columns 75, they match with the 75, right? Number of rows would be different in train and test, but number of columns would remain same, ना? जितने टेस्ट X में होंगे उतना ही ट्रेन X में होंगे. ठीक है ना? So this is how I check it. तुम लोग भी चाहो ऐसे check कर सकते हो. Put a line. Done. Done, everyone? Has everyone done till sampling? Please let me know. Those who have joined online, guys, what about them? Sampling part. Okay. So sampling part done. Right. Now, everyone please have a look over here. So basically you don't realize that you have come very close to the model building. So मैं एक model building का code डाल रहा हूँ. Just have a look. Just have a look. Okay. I'm not teaching model building today. That we will do probably, let's say, after 7 to 8 more classes. So let me say I want to build, everyone please have a look. Let me say I want to build a linear regression model. ठीक है ना? So normally how do I build a model? I build my model on my trained data. याद करो कल की theory. I build my model on the trained data. So I want to build my model on the trained data, but for building the model, again, I'll use my sklearn. Whatever model you want to build. So I'll say from sklearn dot linear model. I'll say import linear regression. So the please एक मिनट बात मत करो. Remember whenever I imported a label encoder, I created an object for it. So what I'll do is I'll create an object for it also. I'll say, let me say linear regression equal to put some name, जो भी नाम तुम लोग को चाहिए. Linear regression, that's it. And then what I'll do is instead of fit transform, I will only use fit. And then I'll say build my model, PA train X, comma PA train Y. Model build. अगर यहाँ पे error नहीं आया, it means model has been built. Now if you want to do the prediction, I'll say dot predict. I want to do the prediction on my test data, so I'll just say test data. Prediction done. Okay. So prediction done. This is how we build the model. Okay. This is how we build the model. ये सारे लाइंस में हटा देता हूँ so that people do not invest their time over. जब हम linear regression में जाएंगे तब हम उसको देखेंगे, है ना? Don't put any time and energy over it. I just wanted to show you just one more line and your model is built. If everyone is clear till your data cleaning and sampling, it means they in a way they are good to go for your model building. Data science part में enter कर सकते हो. Now I'll give you 5 minutes. Whichever part of your coding is left, please complete it. And then we will see some more functions in our pandas. कितना टाइम लगा मैं कितने बजे स्टार्ट किया था 11:41 so within less than an hour with explanation है ना 11:41 है ना yes so 11:41 पे हमने स्टार्ट किया था with explanation it took little less than an hour so अगर explanation नहीं करता तो probably half an hour. Done? कोई डाउट? Sure. Okay, now let's see some small more tricks. I'll not say them a very particular functions, but छोटे tricks. Okay. Few more functions or tricks. Few more function, or you can say tips. You get tricks, whatever. Okay. Let me say, please guys, once again, let me say a file as in your data frame, or let me say you have a CSV file. Okay, CSV file on your laptop or wherever, or in your, let's say you want to read the data from directly from your SQL table. So SQL table can have many columns. It can have hundreds of columns. A CSV file has, let's say, many columns, and you want only few of them to be loaded. Few of them to be loaded while reading the data frame. So कभी-कभी ये command तुम्हारे बहुत useful होगी, because in real life data can be in crores or whatever, or it can have several hundred columns. Okay. I don't want to read all the columns. I don't want all the columns. I want only few columns. So normally, how do I read a file? I'll use the very same approach. Let me say I want to, just for an example purpose, let me say I want to read this. Please, थोड़ी देर बात मत करो. I want to read this file, but let me put a scenario. What scenario I want to execute? Let me say I want only these columns. I want a gender column, or let me say I want loan ID in gender column, and I want applicant and co-applicant income column, and then I want the loan status. I want only these columns. For time being, imagine your data frame, the CSV file, whatever you have on your desktop, laptop, it has some hundreds and 200 columns. So if you try to read all those columns, it is taking huge amount of time. Your laptop is not supporting, Pandas is not supporting, whatever. But you are interested, out of all the hundreds of columns, you are interested in only these few columns. So what I'll do is I'll take a little different approach. And while reading itself, I can say this, and I'll say something like this. You can use an option. There is one option, use columns. I'll say use columns, put it over here, create a list. List create करने में तुम लोगों ने already PhD कर रखा है, ठीक है? Create a list and pass it over here. And let me take another name. Let me say CR2. Which issue देता है? What's the name? Match not column. अच्छा, gender. I think I have made some spelling mistake. Okay, this commas are missing. Commas are missing probably. Okay, this is also missing. This is also missing. I think this should go fine. नहीं होगा तो कुछ solution देखेंगे. But as of now, it has gone fine. And now, if you notice, it has only those few columns instead of all the columns. So you can use the option use columns and pass the list of the columns which you want to use. Okay, try करो सब लोग please. Is it clear to everyone? Okay. Okay, let's do one thing. कोई फाइल है तुम लोग के पास? Can you open some file, guys? Any file, any file. रो ड्रॉप करना है. किस कंडीशन पे रो ड्रॉप करना? रो ड्रॉप करना, ठीक है, रो भी ड्रॉप कर लेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ठीक है। Open any file, open any file. I want to take up one more method of reading your file. कोई फाइल ओपन करी?
हेलो
Yes, tell me. Someone is saying something. Yes, Amol.
सर। सर एक टाइटैनिक फाइल है, उसमें ना कॉलम का नेम होम डॉट डेस्ट है, तो
Okay.
डॉट की वजह से वो रन नहीं होता सर।
Okay. Then replace that. Rename that column.
ओके, वो और डैश भी आया तभी नहीं होता।
डैश भी आया तभी भी नहीं रहता, तो रिप्लेस करना बताया ना, सॉरी रीनेम करना बताया ना, रीनेम इट।
ओके ओके
Either rename it or use your square bracket method.
ओके सर।
See, जो चीजें मैं बताता हूँ लोग चीजें भूल जाते हैं क्या? See, for example, guys, एक second please. Let's say your loan ID column is something like this. Suppose करो your loan ID column is something like this. Okay, then what will happen if you are doing cr2 dot loan ID? It will give you an error. Okay, but if you say cr and if you say this thing, loan dot ID, it will not give you an error. You can still read that column. Amol, are you getting my point?
यस सर।
ठीक है ना? Otherwise, you can rename that column. ठीक है? That is one thing. सबने एक फाइल ओपन करी? Open any file, any CSV file. यहाँ पे आओ, यहाँ पे आके कंट्रोल ए करो, कंट्रोल ए और कंट्रोल सी। सबने करा? डन। Open any CSV file, do control A, control C. That's it. I don't want anything else to be done. Done. Now, again, I am telling you one more way to read your file. This may also be helpful. So what I can do, I can say pd.read. Do you notice one option, read clipboard? Clipboard का मतलब समझ में आया? जो डेटा तुम्हारे माउस के क्लिप पे है. So let me say I want to store this data in something. Okay. Run it. And your data has been read. You notice? The data was there in your mouse. जैसे तुम copy paste करते हो ना? So you had copied it, and instead of pasting, you are using the option read clipboard. So your data has been read. So without giving any path, let's say your path is having some problem, कुछ problem आ रहा है. So you can use this option, though it's not a very good method, but still you can. Control A, Control C. Control A will select everything, and C will copy everything. Done? Okay, another way. So if I want to see my default path, if I want to see the default path, अगर हमें अपना default path देखना है, so what I can do, I think ये हमने बताया भी है. You can do your PWD. PWD will give you a default path, present working directory. ये पासवर्ड नहीं है, present working directory है. ठीक है? Present working directory. So सबका path अलग अलग आ रहा होगा. It is your laptop path. जहां पे तुम्हारा ये तुम्हारे लैपटॉप पे कुछ पाथ दे रहा होगा. C drive में. Normally people would be having in your C drive only, unless until you have changed it. Okay. So how do I read a file? बताओ कोई इशू आ रहा है जो लोग बातें कर रहे हैं? Any problem? नहीं ना? So जब मैं बता रहा हूँ सिर्फ उतने पे फोकस करो, ठीक है? लगता है उधर में कुछ लोगों को शफल करना पड़ेगा, उधर तब बातें करनी. सॉफ्टवेयर मतलब Okay. So PWD is your present working directory. Okay. See guys, एक second. How do you read a file? File कैसे read करते हो? You give a path and then you give a file name and then you give a type. ठीक है? So, but if the file is there in your present working directory, you can directly read the file. You don't need to give the file name. ठीक है? If the file is there in your present working directory, then no need to give the path. No need to give path name. Suppose करो मेरा present working directory क्या है? C में users में प्रांजल में, ठीक है? और whatever is your path, everyone go there and copy a file. अपने फाइल को कॉपी करो, उस पाथ में जाके पेस्ट करो and try reading it. So what I'll do is I cannot show you my working directory, थोड़ा सा ज्यादा डेटा है उसमें, but C में users में प्रांजल. Okay, so I have one file which is car price in my default path. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll say pd.read_csv and I'll just say car. किस फोल्डर में मेरे car underscore नहीं empty car नहीं, that is another file, car underscore price dot csv. So it has been read. So do you notice with I am only giving the name of the file. I am not giving the path. But if your file is present in this path, you can read it without giving any path name. ठीक है? You can read it without giving any path. Take a minute and let me know once you've done it. Done? कैसा रहा? हाँ. Then you are not giving a proper file name. See, check if this file exists in your path. You have to copy and put it over there. क्या ऐसे उस path पे वो file है? Downloads में है ना? If it is in download, then you need to give the path name. वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ, तुम लोग सुन नहीं रहे हो ना? If the file is present in this path, then you don't need to give the path name. You only need to give the file name. So if it is in download, then you copy it and put it in this path. Then it will work. Getting my point? ठीक है?